Hello. Whoa. That's really loud. There we go. Is it just me or is it really loud?
It's very loud.
Yes, it is.
It's pretty loud.
Somebody's been jacking with all this stuff and I can't hear anything. So.
Uh-oh.
I might have to talk over here. We have multiple. Oh, that's much better. We have multiple shows here at the studio. Oh, I'm hearing a really bad echo too.
Yeah, me too.
And so sometimes they switch. Oh, much better. Sometimes they switch all of the settings, and then of course it drives Shannon crazy. I apologize, Shannon, but I think it's fixed. I think you got it. Can you hear?
Sounds good.
No, you can't hear anything. Well, it sounds good on our end.
Yeah.
But guys, welcome to Don't Panic. Another episode. I'm like a little off now. Another episode of Don't Panic. This is part 2 of our series talking about Rack Focus, the film competition that is coming up a week from Sunday. And just like last week, I have a brand new set of filmmakers that are participating and competing in this round. And I hear the echo again. Okay. And without further ado, I'm going to have my guests introduce themselves and the name of their project.
Hi, I'm Lonnie Jewett with Uproar Entertainment. I have 2 films in this round. The first is called Nothing, and the second one
But what's it called?
It's called Nothing.
Oh, okay.
And the next film is called Desperate Measures.
Nice. So you have 2 this round.
Yes.
All right. We're going to talk about that.
My name's Tyler Case, and I'm the director, DP, and editor of Sloan.
Wow.
Sloan.
And I'm Michael Butts. I'm director and producer of Cold Snap.
Cold Snap. Nice.
Snap.
Nice. Now, is it the first time in Rack Focus?
This guy right here.
For my own film, but I did one round 5 with Esau, Don't Drink the Water.
That
was
won an award.
Yes, it did.
Wow. Was that because of you?
We had a good team.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ooh, good answer.
There you go.
Yeah, that was
Ooh,
very
so political. And it's your first time.
This is my first time, but I was also helping out on John Dixon's The Plot. So I helped out on his.
Oh, okay.
And then
what
I did my own. I was an AD on his.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
he's actually the one that introduced me to Rack Focus. I had just moved here and I didn't know anybody, and he kind of like reached out to me. It was like, "Hey, you should come to this meeting called Rack Focus," and I was like, "Okay." And then it was the day of the pitch. Is the day that
I remember meeting you.
met you and everybody. So I actually didn't start until like that day. Because I didn't
Nice.
know about it until that day. And it was 2 days later that I contacted you, and then I saw that the deadline was like August 4th or something like that.
Yeah.
And I, gave you my
was like,
money,
"I
and
wanna
then
do
I
it."
started right then and there. So,
Nice.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it was exciting.
It's very flattering
Yeah.
that it inspired you like that much. Like,
Oh,
hey, I
yeah.
want to get
Oh, no,
started,
yeah.
and you used Rack Focus as a platform
Yep.
because that's what I wanted
Absolutely.
to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is really great, guys. And so, of course, ladies first. Lonnie, you for those of you who don't know, to join in Rack Focus, when you join, you have 3 months to complete your film. So you can't submit a movie that you shot a year ago or anything. It has to be shot in those 3 months. So it's already a task in its own. And so, Lonnie, this is like the multiple times that you have entered various, more than one project.
Right.
So what's your secret? Because I know we had 37 submissions and only 21 made the deadline. How do you do it?
You know what? I have a really good team in place that helps me to get everything done in time. But actually, one film that I submitted this time was edited down because some of the scenes didn't look good in post, and so we had to trim it down from a 10-minute movie down to something that is far shorter than what we wanted, but it still looks good. It looks phenomenal.
Okay.
Although we're missing a big chunk of the story.
Would we be able to tell by looking at it, the audience?
The audience may not be able to tell.
That's what matters,
Although,
really.
yes, I pulled the wool over some people's eyes with it. I've shown it to a few people, and they're, "Oh, this is great." Although they still don't know that there's a whole lot of other stuff that's missing. I'll fix it later.
Okay. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah,
Isn't that
there
the
you go,
saying?
We'll fix, I say that all the time. Oh, Denise, don't worry, Denise will fix it in post.
Yeah.
And
So tell us about like the first film that you're doing. Which one would you like to talk about first?
Well, I'll talk about Nothing. That film.
You have to talk about a film.
Yeah. Right? Well, the film's called
I'll stop
Nothing.
that joke.
I know. Right? The film's called Nothing, and it's a short that's based on a feature that I wrote.
Okay.
And in this film, there's a husband and wife. They're dealing with some infidelities, and she finds a way to ruin these other relationships that her husband is having with these other women.
Ooh, so it's like bitter.
It's very.
Ooh, I like it.
Although she doesn't seem to be angry about it, you know, her friend is the one that's saying, hey, you know, if it were me, I would feel like this or I would do that about it. And she's like, oh, don't worry, this is nothing. He does this, he does that. I'm going to do this. I'll leave him with nothing. So there's that theme where nothing keeps coming up over and over in the movie. You'll hear different characters saying that word and then the theme song. So that's where I got the idea.
Nice. So I have a question. They say write what you know. So with this storyline, can you relate somehow? Is that why you wrote it?
Well, I'll say this. Linda, the character in the movie, is me.
Okay.
So I wrote this. Now, I probably shouldn't say this in front of people, but the thing
You can tell us. No one's watching.
yeah, nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening.
The things that she does to get even with her husband are things that I've done to get even with my ex-husband.
Oh, snap.
And to this day, if you ask him, like, he's not going to watch the show, so it doesn't make any difference.
Why?
But-
Is he dead?
No.
Based on a true story.
There's that.
Exactly.
You know.
Because we don't know how your film ends.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But you know, these are things that I've done, and I thought, hey, you know what? And people who've listened to me tell the story and say, you know, this would be a really good movie. So I wrote it down, and I wrote down the long version. There's so much more that goes on.
Gotcha. So let me ask you a question. So if someone were to watch the film, would they say, ooh, this is someone I would want to date? Or would they say, oh, we're staying away from her?
Well, you know, ask that guy over there. He'll tell.
Well, he's going to lie because you're standing here.
I know, but it's too late now. We've been in this thing for like 20 years, so.
Gotcha.
But you know, this was before.
I hear you. All right, cool. And so now what about your second film?
The second film is called Desperate Measures.
And I noticed in your title, it's got a lot of little dollar signs for the S's, so it has to
It has to do with some money.
money. Okay.
I remember when I did the pitch for this film, and I said, you know, I deliberately left out the fact that there's a heist that goes on.
Okay.
Yeah.
A
I
heist.
figured, you know, the audience would get a kick out of that.
See, as a
later when they find
filmmaker,
out.
the first thing I think of when I hear heist is bigger budget.
Yeah.
You know.
No? I mean, right?
Yeah. No.
Well, we were able to make it happen.
Depends
Okay.
on
You
who
know,
you're
because
stealing
we didn't
from.
rely on.
Right.
No, well,
Stealing
yeah.
from grandma, I don't know if that's going to be a big.
Ah,
budget or
that's
anything,
true,
you know,
that's
so-
true.
Armored cars,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
banks.
But a bank.
No, we didn't. Yeah, there's no armored cars. There's none of that. There's no explosions. You know, like things that you think of,
Yeah.
like heat and, you know,
Okay.
what's the other one? Chaos and Reservoir Dogs. Although, I'll tell you this. You know, I was inspired by a whole lot of different movies. I tried to name the characters. You know,
So this one's a little more not as personal as the first one. This one's a little more action kind of
Yeah.
thing.
well, you know,
Okay.
I'll tell you this. Ordinarily, the films that I've submitted, and you've seen them, I stay with political issues.
Okay.
You saw I've done a couple things on police brutality. I've done a film on gay and lesbian issues. But this time, I just, you know, let's just have some fun. So the films I put out there this time are, you know, they are not political. There's nothing to be learned.
Now, you know, and with you saying that, is that because of the last round, how they were like very serious and you wanted to kind of change things a bit, or?
I just wanted people to see me differently this time.
Okay.
I wanted people to know that, you know, I'm not always a stick in the mud. You know, I can have a good time, you know.
I didn't see you as being a stick in the mud with those movies. I just thought, wow, she has things to say.
Yeah.
is what I was thinking.
Well, this time I want people to go, yeah, here we go. Here's Lonnie's film again. And they be like,
Here we go
oh,
again.
my God, what did she
message
do?
is she going to be giving?
Yeah, I figured, I'd get off the soapbox this time.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. That sounds good. And I know that the judges had kind of mentioned that too. They said, oh, yeah, you have a lot of things to say, and these are all like little push button topics that you're covering. And you didn't seem to be afraid of that. You were like, yeah.
No, it's what I like to do. I get your attention for at least that 10 minutes. You'll pay attention, and you'll think about what it is that I want you to think about and focus on, at least for a few minutes.
What was the biggest thing that you learned from round one that you took with you to this round? Or, yes, the last round to this round?
I think just how to deal with the criticisms, because like a lot of times people don't always see things the same way that I do. The audience, is very diverse, and so what I think is an important issue may not translate to other people. And so I learned, okay, well, just shut up and listen, and then try to make a better film the next time.
Got it. You know what? That's really good advice. Yeah, and it seems like you listened to the judges, because I think they said the same thing too. It's like, yeah, we'd like to see something different from you too. I remember one of them saying that. I can't remember which judge it was.
Yeah, well, let's see what they think this time.
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna look at this and be like, this isn't what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't kill your husband.
Are you guys like into like message movies, or do you see that when you're going in like to do a film?
I mean, I make fun films. I'm sure there's like hidden messages in my films, but nothing like political or anything like that. Obviously everybody's different and stuff, but I think every film, in my opinion, has a message to it, whether it's
Right.
a Pixar film or a Quentin Tarantino film. But with mine, if there is, it's a hidden message.
Okay.
So.
Tyler?
Usually I like to scare people.
Yeah. We like that.
Yeah. But this round we kind of did a more heartfelt, kind of fight for what you love kind of thing. So.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. And with that, guys, we are going to cut to our first break. And when we come back, we will be talking to Tyler about his film, Sloan. And we're also going to be discussing bad acting versus great looks on the same person. What do you do? So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Guys, it's just weeks away. The first annual Month of Mayhem. The figure could amount to upwards of $100,000. Word is Alex Sloan has entered the tournament. He's a local brawler and happens to be a very, very proficient fighter. We all like watching fights. This is gonna be insane.
I love you, Mr. Sloan.
$100,000 on the line, man. Tell me what's going through your mind.
Man, I'm already planning how I'm going to spend this money.
She's had massive trauma to her liver.
This man couldn't even save his girl. You think he's going to come through me?
Do the transplant.
We've got to induce a coma.
Final fight for the Month of Mayhem. Woo! It's about to go down, man.
You know why we're here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Don't Panic. This show is all about Rack Focus Round 6, which is happening November 12th at the Texas Theater. Doors open at 5:30 and show begins at 6:30. And that was the trailer for Sloan, which is Tyler Case's film. How do you feel about your film?
I'm very happy with it.
Yeah?
I love it. Like I said, I'm usually more towards like scaring and horror movies and, but this one, we actually pitched an entirely different film at the pitch session, but then, I wanted to think about the larger picture here and, my buddy Justin was like, hey, we should do a fighting film. And I was like, you know what? We haven't actually like dove into that, like, choreographing fights and filming fights. And so in the way that we did it and seeing it all edited together, it kind of actually worked out really nicely.
Yeah. So now did you, by your buddy saying, hey, let's do like a fighting film, a boxing film, did you already have access to a gym with the boxing?
He did. He's actually, Justin, who's the main actor in the film. He's been training MMA for the last half year maybe.
Wow.
And so we met up at the gym and talked to the owner and, kind of pitched him what we were doing. And he was like, oh, yeah, like, come on in. So, we went in for 2 days. We shot our little, like, montage stuff. And then we had the final fight the next day. And the guys actually, the cool thing about this one, they actually took some hits in the ring. And,
Did y'all have insurance?
Yeah, we have insurance.
Okay. Well, then it's okay.
That's the crucial part of filming right there.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything, you at least need insurance.
Right.
So.
Or I guess the people that were in it, the actors that were being hit or hitting, I hope had like some experience with this.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
So, and they weren't like hitting with all their, all their might and force, but they were taking some hits and some accidents but they were troopers about it all. And
what was the biggest accident that happened, like physical?
Anything? There wasn't really like anything huge, just Justin was like, yep, I just took a hit to the eyebrow or, whatever it was and, shook it off and
if
take
you saw
two.
blood, you said, shoot it, shoot it.
Right.
So just out of curiosity for everyone watching as well, what, from the pitch to changing your mind, what made you change your mind?
I think story was the big one. And like I said, I was kind of thinking of the big picture plan here. And, we wanted to make this one because if all goes well in round 6 and we get invited to the all-star round, then we're going to hit them hard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And with you saying that, and I'll come right back to you, the what's happening with round 6 is that the winners of round 6 will be plus and everyone else that has won an award from round 1 through round 6 will be eligible for round 7, which is going to be round 7 All-Stars. And the winner of that competition of round 7 will get a fully funded full-length film plus worldwide distribution through ITN distribution and partnered with La Luna Entertainment, my company.
That never, ever, ever happens. Like even like the big film festivals, I don't even think that's a prize.
Right.
So to, be a part of this, I think the overall outcome of what could happen for any of us filmmakers here is, a great thing to try to work for.
Yeah. Well, good.
So.
Good. I'm really happy to hear that because when I approached ITN, I have a really good relationship with them for about 7 years now. We kind of just threw it out there because I kept telling them about all these great filmmakers that are coming out of the competition, and I would send them, the filmmakers that were actually posting them online because they're like, okay, we're done with this. You can watch it for free. We're going to move on to the next project. The ones that allowed that were really good projects, I sent it to them and I said, look, this is the quality of film that's happening from round 1 to now is amazing. So yeah, it just kind of happened.
And just the struggle as being a filmmaker to get a fully funded feature to begin with is, that never happens.
Yeah. Now there's still a catch, guys. You can either do an extension of your winning film in round 7, or you can just pitch a brand new idea. So remember to have at least 3 great pitches, because if you pitch one and they say, what else you got? Have another one.
Yeah.
And if they say, no, what else you have? And then you pitch 3 or 4 and they're like, we don't know what to do. And I'm going to say, oh crap, we're going to go to, second place people, because these ideas suck. I mean, I don't know what they're going to say.
Yeah.
But, you know, it could be taken away. But, you know, I'm trying to give you guys, I mean, I just can't predict what they're going to do.
Right.
But they do want you to make a film or they wouldn't be offering this, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's a little, you know, but it's really great practice for, well, it's not even practice. You're actually pitching an idea to somebody who wants to give you money to make it because they believe you're going to make them money. They want you to make them money because when they make money, you're going to make money.
Right.
Yeah. So,
It's a win-win.
yeah, exactly. So now tell me about the production of your film because I've seen it. I've seen all the films and I do know how yours ends, and that's why I'm like, I don't know if I should stand so close to you. Just kidding.
You're safe.
So you had, I know from Don't Drink the Water from last round, Abby Joy's in it. Tell us more about your actors.
We got Abby Joy, and I met her on Don't Drink the Water. You know, she had
We
a little.
love Abby.
Yes, she is very talented. I remember we were filming the bedroom scene at the very end of the film, and you know, at first she was all kind of like jolly, and then she just snapped into like this very emotional type part of the script, and I was like, wow, she's a good actress. So we brought her on for Sloan. She did phenomenal. Sloan is basically about a couple who. They're both fighters. So Justin, he's an MMA fighter, and his wife, Abby's role, is more she's a championship kickboxer. So some unfortunate events happened to Abby, and Sloan, Alex Sloan, has to try to win this fighting tournament, basically to save her life.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a really good elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So now, just out of curiosity, your actor Justin, you say he's an MMA fighter?
Yeah, he's training for.
So is he a fighter who happens to be an actor, or an actor who happens to be a fighter?
He's an actor who happens to be a fighter. But this guy Justin, though, he's an actor. He's trained to fight. He's a musician. He knows his. He went to school for I mean, he just has.
What does he play?
He cooks. He's been to school for culinary.
My God!
And when it
he did craft service. He was first AD. He did lights.
And I mean, he also, you know, for the music side, he sings, plays guitar, drums, bass. Like, I'm like, where do you get the time to learn all this stuff? You know. Wow. But he's a very brilliant person, and I've worked with him for many years now, and. So I call him on all the projects that we got coming.
Very nice. And I know that we've also had your other, I guess he's your business partner, Austin, who's been on the show before as well. He has a separate project, but was he a part of this one too?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of do everything together. We actually grew up making films together. I think we got our first video camera in 2nd or 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And I mean, ever since then, I mean, we've been going at it like every weekend, every day of summer vacation. We were just out there filming, whether it be making crappy little horror films or just doing jackass stunts. I mean, we were just always had a camera in our hand. And
what was y'all's first like little horror film that you did with the video camera?
It's called Unpopular. And
okay.
It's funny because I was the one getting bullied because I was a little skinny kid. You know, I had Dr. Seuss books and got beat up by some kids. So then I went crazy and ended up killing someone who didn't even bully me, wasn't even in the like it didn't make any sense, you know. So
and that was, what was that called? Unpopular. So I'll make you a deal. You show me Unpopular, and I'll show you my one of my first horror films that I did with my family with our first camcorder, and it was called A Nightmare on West Avenue.
All right.
That was where
I don't even know if you want to see that. We actually have.
It's terrible.
We have a 2.5 hour long DVD with every single film that we've made from kids to, I guess, college, and it's titled "Play at Our Funeral."
Nice.
So our funeral's pretty much just going to be a little crappy film festival, you know?
Right, with only family members like laughing and everyone else is like, we don't get it.
The mourners are going to film.
Right.
So, good times.
Right, oh my gosh. So getting back to Sloan, when you said, hey, I think I'm going to change this storyline, you said, hey, let's do this boxing film. Then who wrote it? Was there already a script?
I mean, no, there wasn't a script, but me and Justin kind of got together and like, you know, let's do something that, you know, will maybe pull some heartstrings and, you know, maybe bring a tear or two.
Yeah.
So we were thinking about, okay, is it going to be a fighter who's trying to save his young daughter? Is it going to be a fighter trying to save, his girlfriend or wife, or, so we kind of dove into different scenarios, and ended up being Justin. I think he was like, this is just the millennial in me speaking, but I think it should be, a fiance that he's trying to save.
Mm-hmm.
So we went that route.
Nice. And it seemed like it was pretty easy to cast.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were only like 2 main actors.
Well, there's that. And, I already knew who I wanted to play certain parts. Like Byron, I wanted him to be the coach because, that guy, he can bring it. He's one of those guys that can just look at you and just have a tear fall down without having to, like, sob and, you know. That guy can bring it.
Nice.
So we got him on. And
I know your, quote, villains or the opponents are pretty scary looking.
Daniel Ludovici.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're intimidating.
Yeah, he's very intimidating.
Which is great for the role.
But the cool thing about Daniel is he just started acting, wanted to get into, acting in films and stuff. So we brought him on to Sloan and Outlaw. And we were actually filming Outlaw, and I was like, hey, do you know how to fight? And he was like, ha, ha. And he ended up doing
answer my question.
He was like,
It's not funny.
So he does this like roundhouse kick, lands it perfectly, and I was like,
and you said,
you're
can't?
You're perfect. You're perfect for this part. So
nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Whew. Well, I've seen the film, guys. I can't say anything about any films. I don't want to sway anyone about any film. They're all terrible. They're all horrible. No, I'm just kidding. They're all super awesome. You need to come out. We have to take another break, and we didn't even get to talk about the other subject that we're going to, but we're going to get to it, along with, if you have $1 million, how would you spend it on a film? But before we talk about that, we're going to cut to break, and when we come back, we are going to be talking to Michael over here about his film, Cold Snap. Don't go anywhere.
I would lie to my crew and say this is...
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Don't Panic. If you are just now joining us, we are talking to some filmmakers that are competing in this round of Rack Focus Round 6. So if you're just now joining us, I'm going to have them reintroduce themselves.
I'm Lonnie Jewett with Uproar Entertainment.
I'm Tyler Case, and I worked on Sloan.
I'm Michael Butts, and I am director-producer of Cold Snap.
Nice. And guys, I'm going to sign on just in case people, oh yeah, there are comments and everything, so I want to make sure to get these comments live. Oh, my friend Eric says, I love you, Tyler Case.
Sweet, I have a fan.
All right.
And then, of course, someone says, can we chat about Kevin Spacey? No, maybe later.
Maybe next time.
Maybe later.
Hey, I feel like there's positions in Hollywood opening up.
Yes.
And someone that you may know, Terry Adderholt says that the trailer was great.
Oh, thank you, Terry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry.
So, guys, let's talk to Michael. Michael, so you're the newbie of the group.
Yes, I am.
And probably maybe the entire competition. I think everyone's been in it before. Maybe there was a couple of other new people. But you're new not just to the competition, but to Dallas. So where did you move from?
I moved from Nashville, Tennessee. I lived there for about 3 years. Met my wife there, got married, and she got a job opportunity out here. So we actually moved here this past May. So, but this is a great experience and an opportunity for me to kind of get my name out there and kind of show people in Dallas who I am from Nashville.
So in Nashville, were you a filmmaker?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, I didn't know if you just came here and said, hey, I want to be a filmmaker.
Oh, no. I started getting into film. I've been in film my entire life, but started going to film school and stuff in 2014. And that's when I moved to Nashville. I was in the military, got out, wanted to go to film school, and went to a film school in Nashville. And then from there, just did a bunch of freelance and all that. So
nice.
And now I'm here.
Very cool. And so when you were doing that, tell me about like some of your projects. What did you work on? What was like your thing? What's your favorite genre that you work on?
I guess my favorite genre would probably be like horror, thriller, suspense.
Okay.
But the last film I did before Cold Snap was kind of like a romance drama called Quitting. It's about there's 3 different scenes that involve people having conversations after having sex and smoking cigarettes. And that's what the whole film,
that sounds interesting.
That's what the whole film's about. But they each part has its own little segment, but they all tie in together. So it's 2 actors per scene, and there's 3 scenes. So
was there any lines where someone said, "What was your name again"?
Should have been. There should have been.
Right. Maybe that's my world. Never mind. Moving on.
But yeah, so that was a romance, and I did that because a buddy of mine who starred in it and wrote it, his name's Scott Crane. A lot of people were saying that all you guys ever do is horror and thriller and all that. It's like, so we basically were betted to see if we could do something other than that. So I sat with them. I pitched this kind of idea about these people who have conversations after having sex, smoking cigarettes, and he was like, let's do it. So he wrote it, and
where can we see it?
I got it. I can throw it up online. I can throw it up on Facebook. It's on my Vimeo account. It's on YouTube, stuff like that. So it's a little 13-minute short film. So
perfect. Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to.
I know I showed it at the was it the Bedford that Glenn Franklin does? I showed it there 2 months ago. So
nice. Yeah, Glenn Franklin's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy.
And speaking of cool guys, so the person that brought you to Rack Focus was John Charles Dixon, which we love. He's been a part of Rack Focus since round 1.
Yes.
Great guy. So tell me about how you got involved with him and how he brought you to Rack.
So I moved in May to Dallas, and I think sometime in June, I blasted stuff on the Dallas film community filmmakers group saying, hey, my name is Michael Butts, I came here from Nashville, yada, yada, yada. And he just kind of like randomly reached out to me. And I think he reached out to me because I had my film Quitting in some film festivals, and it won some awards. And I was kind of like just posting it on there just to kind of let people know, like, hey, I'm not, just a filmmaker, but, I've won some stuff or whatever. And
I'm important, damn it!
Right, exactly.
I know.
And he messaged me on Facebook and kind of introduced himself and was telling me about Rack Focus. And he just told me a little bit about it. And my wife and I met up with him. It was a few days before the pitch. And he kind of got me on board on his team and stuff. And then he kind of told me more about Rack Focus. And he goes, yeah, the pitch is like July 30th or something like that. Yeah. You should come out. And then when I was there and I saw everybody pitching their ideas, I was like, man, I want to do this. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just wait till the next round. And then you got on and said, the only people that could do round 7 are the winners from 1 through 6. And I'm like, well, damn it. That means I got to wait until like round 8 or if it starts round 1. I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was thinking like, well, it was probably already too late to submit, but I got home and checked the website, and it said like the last day was like August 4th.
Yeah, because some people
I contacted you and I said, I really want to do it. How do I pay? Like, I want to be a part of it and stuff
Yeah,
like
because
that.
there are some people who can't make the pitch, and I don't want to tell people, well, I'm sorry, I know you have real jobs, but if you can't make the pitch session, you can't join. No, absolutely, you can join.
Yeah,
still.
no, absolutely. So this is a great opportunity, and I loved the last 3 months has been a blast for me trying to make this film.
So then after the pitch session, so you get started. So tell me about the experience, like production. Did you work on other projects or just yours?
I worked on John's as well, the plot. I was ADing for him.
Shannon, I think you worked on that one too, right?
Yeah, he was DJ D-Screw.
I'm offended.
Right?
This is a family show.
And that's when I met Shannon. It was that day we were here, and he came in looking like he just woke up. And I was like, who's this guy? And John's like, oh, he's DJ D-Screw. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, he belongs here. He's not homeless.
Right. So and that's when I met him. I helped John. We shot his. It was like a weekend, like a Saturday, Sunday, and then that very next weekend, I did mine. So I met John, Shannon, and then I'm horrible with names, but everyone that was part of his film, I met and stuff like that. And everybody seems like they're really cool and nice and all that. So,
very nice. And I know when it was getting closer to the deadline, I think you turned yours in. It wasn't the day of, right? It was maybe like a day or two before.
No, it was the day of. I think I turned it in at like at 6:30.
Okay, yeah, because I know you
like
had
6:30 p.m. and I came up here and dropped it because I was going to do Dropbox, but I didn't trust it. I was like, no, turn it in a thumb drive.
there was a filmmaker that was going to upload it to Dropbox, and he had started that morning, and it was about 10 o'clock in the evening, and he said, it still says 3 hours. Can I hand deliver it? I said, yes. Why do you think I'm here in my office till midnight?
Yeah.
And so he drove over there and turned it in.
Nice.
Yeah, and he turned it in about 11:30.
I think I was going to start it on Dropbox, but then it was going to take like 8 hours or something, and it was like 6 gigs.
No
that's
way.
how big it was. So my buddy's like, how about I just Google Drive it to you? And it took like an hour for Google Drive, and then I downloaded it on my laptop, and it took like 30 minutes, and I put it up to the zip drive, which took like 5 minutes, and then I live 15 minutes away, so I just hauled butt over here. And
Nice,
I was like, there you go.
Nice. So tell us about your film. Without trying to give away anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my film, it's called Cold Snap. And in a nutshell, it's about a grieving couple who are seeking justice for the brutal murder of their daughter.
Oh,
so that's pretty much what it is. I don't really want to go into too many details. I want people to be surprised and all that, but it's a thriller. It's it's drama, suspense.
Can't wait to see it.
Very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now, who wrote it? Did you write it?
It was an idea that I had, but I had my good friend Scott Crane, who stars in it, write it for me. I usually go to him with my ideas, and then he takes my idea and then kind of turns it into something.
Nice.
So
very cool. Now, did you from the pitch session? Did you gather any cast and crew to help you on your project, or how did you crew up?
Well, I was trying to, and I didn't really know anybody, and this was like so last minute, and I was kind of getting overwhelmed and excited. So I just used a bunch of my friends from out of state. And help me kind of do this and stuff. So
yeah, I heard you had approached Tyler, and he said, "I'm busy," and turned around and walked away.
Exactly. I don't even know him until just now. So, but hey, now I know him.
Right.
So, but yeah.
And so, what was the hardest part of shooting your project?
Well, everything was going well until it was time to shoot the last scene of our film, and my camera actually caught on fire.
Oh my God.
First time I've ever seen that. Well, actually, I don't know if it caught on fire. It was smoking. So I'm assuming it was going to lead to catching on fire.
It's because the footage was that hot.
Yes. But no, we had everything else in the can. We had the last scene set up, and my DP goes to hit record, and it starts smoking. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I didn't shoot my last scene until exactly a week before the project was due.
Oh, wow.
So we had everything else edited, the first 7 minutes of the film edited, and then the last 3, we still had to shoot, edit, sound mix, sound design, color grade, color correction, and all that, and then turn it in. So that last week was like heck. Well, the place that I rented it from said it was like a circuit card that like fried or something in it, but it was a black magic.
I'd have been so mad.
It was a
because-
mini pro, so I don't know if that's a normal thing for mini pros to
I
go
don't
up in
know.
flames or what. But if you're
You would
planning
know
on
more
buying
than
one,
me. You
I
know
just hope the screen doesn't catch on fire
Right.
when his film.
I know, right? Right?
Maybe I should sit near the fire exit.
Right? Yeah. But I was
Just in
so
case.
pissed, so mad. I was like, at first I thought my DP was fucking with me. I'm like, you're fucking with me right now, right? He's like, dude, I wish I was. I'm not.
Right.
But it
like
was
it was
literally
like 2 in the
smoking.
morning. It was like, it was smoking. And you could smell it, and it was just smoking. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Did you lose any footage?
No, I mean, we already
Okay.
had everything on the hard drives, like
Okay.
ready to go and stuff like that.
Oh my God. My panic would be, they're not going to believe me.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to say it's my fault.
It's like the excuse of my dog ate my homework. My camera caught on fire.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
But no, I mean, I got it done, so I'm thankful that I still had more time. I'm glad
World
it went
of
like
filmmaking.
48.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
So just out of curiosity, with getting to the writing really quick,
Yeah.
when you finally choose your project to shoot, what where did you pull from to write this? Because I know it's kind of dark because you talked about like grieving
Yeah.
parents and stuff like that. Where'd that come from?
I mean, I think of ideas all the time. I actually got a book at my house, and I just write ideas. If it's a scene or a movie idea or a character's name or a piece of dialogue, I just put it in this book, and then I just kind of go and visit it, and I'm thinking, you know, what would be fun to make next type thing. So I just have ideas that are just kind of written down, and I kind of take one and I kind of like pitch it to people, like my friends and family, like, hey, what do you think about an idea like this for a film? And they're usually like, that sounds stupid, or like, yeah, that sounds great. Or,
Hey,
Yeah.
they're honest, I guess.
no, I mean, I'd rather have honesty, you know? So, but
Yeah.
So.
And so earlier, I know during the break you were asking about like the judges and like
Yes.
if they like handed you notes or anything.
Yeah.
No, guys, for those of you who don't know, at Rack Focus, you screen your film, then there's a Q&A with the cast and crew. You get to bring your cast and crew up to the front. We ask you a couple of questions, talk about your film, yourselves.
Put you on
introduce
blast.
everyone. The what?
Nice.
Put you on blast.
Put you on blast. And then we hand the microphone over to the judges, and they all critique your film right there on the
Oh,
spot
wow.
in front of the theater.
Wow. Nice.
And then when they're done, then everyone sits down and we go to the next film. And trust me, there have been great experiences where everyone says thank you. And there's been back and forths where there's arguments
Wow.
with the judges.
Wow.
That makes for some, as they say, good television right there. And speaking of good television, guys, we are going to take another break. And when we come back, I have a list of questions that I'm going to ask my filmmakers. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Don't Panic. So, to all my filmmakers, I have a few questions. So, I was, I'm going to totally name drop here. I was at Tribeca for my film Ticked Off Trannies with Knives. And one of the questions that I got asked, and I think it was from Fangoria magazine, they said, if you had $1 million budget, what would you do for a film? You know, if you had $1 million budget for a film. So, I'm going to ask you.
What did you tell them you were going to
I'll tell you after y'all are done.
What would I do with the $1 million budget? I would probably dedicate half of that
to charity.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not hardly.
I was going to say charity in my pocket.
You know what I mean? I'll donate later when I get some proceeds. But I probably would use half of that to, for production costs. And then I'd use the other half for advertising to try to get the film some recognition, so that I could make up the money in ticket sales.
Well, that's one of my complaints about when they're listing the budgets of Hollywood films. They say, hey, this movie was made for 120 million, but it's made 300 million. Well, they don't include what they spent on marketing.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's not fair.
No, it's not. But, I think that if I had it, I would try to.
So you'd make a $500,000 film.
I'd make $1 billion film with $500,000.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd use the other $500,000 to try to market it.
Got it. Okay.
Can you make more than one film?
You can do whatever you want.
I would probably make 2 or 3 films.
Okay.
For $1 million. I mean, I feel like nowadays with technology and how cameras are and we're given everything just handed to us nowadays, I mean, it's so easy to get that helicopter shot that we always wanted growing up,
Right.
And just the way that cameras look, and I mean, I think it's possible to.
That's right. The helicopter shot, because now we have drones.
Right,
I remember thinking, when am I going to afford a $400 helicopter ride to get shots of Dallas?
Yeah.
Now you get
now you don't need it.
Yeah.
Or stock footage.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's just everything is just. I feel like so easy nowadays to get those high production value shots. And
Gotcha.
But what about the cast?
you don't pay your cast.
Well, see,
they're just
They're
actors.
just looking for demo reels.
Right. So then you would make multiple films.
I think so.
Okay. What about you?
I mean, I would just go all in. I would get all my filmmaker friends, and I'd be like, let's make a movie. And then, I mean, obviously it starts with a script, I mean, I do something that was, try to find something original, entertaining. I mean, I wouldn't try to go below all the $1 million on one film. I mean, I would try to do something like, I don't know, like Paranormal Activity or whatever, where I'm sure it only cost them, what?
$13,000.
Like Blair Witch Project, which only cost them, like, what, $15,000 or whatever, something like that.
Or the Ouija experiment.
But I would definitely get my filmmaker friends on board. Like, I wouldn't try to go and, like, Hollywood or anything like that, because I mean, $1 million you're not gonna be able to afford them.
Gotcha.
But
And how would you do it with, like, Lonnie had a great point. Would you use some of those funds like to get like one name or a couple of name actors, or would that not be an issue?
And honestly, it all depends. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably use the people I know. I mean, I work with some really good talent that I feel like are very good, and if they had their shot, I feel like they could make it. I mean. The actor I use for for the 3 films that I've done, his name's, I think he's a phenomenal actor, like phenomenal. He's great. So I would probably, use him, but if I had the opportunity of getting somebody in Hollywood for the right price for my $1 million budget, I mean,
yeah, I'd bring back
because sometimes if you have a name in your film, it kind of.
That's where you make money too.
Because I know there are some cool people that have a brand to their name. Like, for example, Danny Trejo, who's Machete.
Yeah.
I think he's $6,000 a day.
Yep.
Something like that.
We worked. Me and Austin worked with him on Badass.
Yeah. So you can get some names. They're not like A-list, but they're recognizable, and there's a brand to their name.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not saying you can, you cannot. So my answer was, I said I wouldn't shoot $1 million film. I would shoot multiple films, is what I said as well.
Oh, we're on the same page then, Israel.
I know. So another question, and when we were talking about casting, so let's say there's someone perfect for a role that you have in your film. Perfect. The look, everything, the way they're dressed, their mannerisms, everything. But their acting sucks to where they are not directable. You can't improve their acting, but their look is great. What do you do?
I would either like rehearse the crap with them, like just like rehearse, and if that didn't work, then I would probably just rewrite that character for somebody that like can't act. You know, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I prefer good acting than just a look, because you don't want people watching your film and they're like cringing because they're like, God, that person's bad.
Gotcha. Tyler, what do you think?
Probably just end up finding someone else. I mean, there's billions of people on this planet, so you know, and I'm sure because you have the look, there's someone else that probably has the look and can act. So I'd probably look a little bit harder than just being like, oh, you're perfect, you know, or just try to beat it out of them.
There's that.
I think with enough rehearsing, I've been around actors before, and I've seen directors with actors that you look at them, or I see them, I'm like, I don't think they're that great, but you just rehearse and rehearse. I mean, you can kind of get it out of them. I mean, a good director, I feel like, can get anything out of anybody. I feel. I mean, if you can't, then it's probably time to tell that person you might want to find another line of work. Yeah. I mean, not to be mean, but
Absolutely, it's a business thing. Yeah. Lonnie, what do you think?
Well, I've been faced with that before, where I've worked with. I actually had to recast 3 roles in a particular film because these ladies were great. You know, they looked the part, but weren't directable. Like, you know, they would continue to ask questions. Well, I think it should be this way. Well, no, because when I wrote it this particular way. And so what I need you to do is act it out accordingly. And when they don't, you know, you have to make a decision. Do I want it to be their way, or do I want it to be my way? And what I've had to do is just recast.
Okay. That's good. We only have a little time left for this segment before we cut to break. So give me 3 adjectives of how you feel for the upcoming round 6.
3 adjectives. I feel anxious, excited, and probably eager.
Ooh, okay. Tyler.
Thrilled, pumped, and a little nervous.
Okay.
I don't even know what an adjective is. No, I mean, I'm definitely excited, definitely nervous, and definitely anxious.
Nice.
I mean, very anxious. So
that's good to know.
It's always a little nerve-wracking when you show your films in front of a lot of people.
Yes.
You know, and I remember going in round 5 and just walking into the theater, and I was like, holy cow, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah.
But it's also just a great feeling, especially if you get the response that you were hoping for. Like this certain scene, they're like either crying or laughing. You know, you hit that mark, and it's like.
And hopefully they're laughing for the right reasons.
Right.
Not
exactly.
because it's terrible.
Yeah right.
Like, this movie's a drama. Why are you guys laughing?
Right. Exactly. It's horror, guys. We have to cut to break, our last break, and then when we come back, we're going to close out the show. Don't go anywhere.
That's funny.
I've been a part of that, or.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Don't Panic. So, guys, we have 2 minutes left. Go ahead and tell everyone about you, promote your project, and yeah, go for it.
Well,
how people can find you too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Look me up on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. It's Uproar Entertainment, UPRHOAR, Uproar Entertainment. I've listed some of the films that I've made there. Some of them are pretty bad, but I'm getting better. I had a lot of practice thanks to Israel and Rack Focus. This round, I've got 2 films. Come out and see them. Nothing and Desperate Measures.
Sweet. Tyler?
I did Sloan. You can see the trailer on my personal Facebook page, Tyler Case. You can find us on YouTube at 4horsemen Productions or just 4horsemen Productions. And yeah, there's videos on my personal Facebook page. There's videos on the 4 Horsemen Facebook page. So check them out if you're interested. And yeah.
2 minutes, people. Jesus. All right. No, my name again is Michael Butts. My film is Cold Snap. Find me on Facebook. I'd love to, meet with you, talk with you, come out to the Rack Focus, watch some films. When you find me on Facebook, I could redirect you to my Vimeo page and all that, and you guys could check out my other films. So yeah.
Excellent. And guys, Rack Focus Round 6 is a week from this coming Sunday, which is November 12th. Doors open at 5:30. Show begins at 6:30. We are going to be screening 21 locally shot films, 10 minutes or less. Don't miss it. There's going to be tons of people. There always is. It's going to be a show for sure, especially with all the films. We have so many different genres. I'm really excited about this round because there's a lot at stake, because the winner of this round, including the winners of previous rounds, will be eligible. Well, they will be the only ones eligible to go into round 7, which will be Rack Focus Round 7 All-Stars. So next week, we're going to do this again, and we're going to have a new set of filmmakers that will be promoting their films. So we will see you next week. I want to say thank you to my guests for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great weekend. See you later.